Hello, and welcome. Man, the fall season is right around the corner. I kinda took my time with this one, didn't I? Well, anywho, you know the drill. Here's a look at all the upcoming anime that will leave us impressed, depressed, or mating pressed. Which is why you should join me as I continue my journey to discover the perfect anime. Starting off with the sequels, of course, and the big one this season is One Punch Man Season 3, and it still does not have a full trailer. Wait, really? This anime comes out in like less than 2 weeks or something? Keep in mind, it was first announced years ago and we just found out who the production staff would be for this season. Season 2 came out back in 2019 and the pandemic scrambled my sense of time so much to where that's like a whole different era to me. And to Japan. I'm honestly not too familiar with this series, so I don't know if Season 3 is supposed to be as good as Season 1 was, but they haven't given us that much info to go off of yet. On the flip side, Spy X Family Season 3 is coming out, and it's Spy X Family. It's an anime that appeals to everyone and manages to land it. This is just a great anime, and I'm sure this upcoming season is going to be just as good as the previous two. My Hero Academia is also continuing with its finale after almost 10 years. It's finally coming to an end in anime form, and I just want to appreciate that we're here. It's really going to feel like the end of an era after this season. This is how many people around the world first got into anime, and I genuinely hope that it goes out on the high note it deserves. Equally as important is Isekai Quartet Season 3, now adding the Eminence and Shadow, and if every season adds a well-known isekai to the cast, then I hope next season will add the Bending Machine. Tales of Wedding Rings Season 2 is another isekai sequel, and this is a textbook definition of a trash harem isekai, which is why it is unironically one of my most anticipated anime of the season personally. I know, I'm predictable. Gintama, Mr. Ginpachi's zany class is not a sequel but a spin-off of the Gintama series. Uma Musume Cinderella Grey picks up after this spring. Blue Orchestra is also returning, as is Campfire Cooking in Another World with my absurd skill. The 6th season of Kingdom, Kakurio, Bed and Breakfast for Spirits Season 2, and Record of Ragnarok Season 3. Now, admittedly, I haven't watched any of those anime that I just ran through, but I know they all have their fans, so I have no doubt that these sequels will be worth a watch. Let This Grieving Soul Retire was such a fun watch, so I'm glad it's coming back. Another anime I had a blast watching last fall was the Rama 1/2 remake. So nice seeing that get continued too, especially since we just don't get many slapstick anime these days. Also, Mappa might be going into overdrive again. That's 2 anime sequels they're making this season, and 2 are coming out the following season. And lastly, To Your Eternity Season 3. Now, Season 2 is still pretty good, even if it didn't reach the heights of Season 1, but the overall appeal of To Your Eternity is this endless journey of discovering all sides of humanity through the eyes of an immortal. It's the kind of anime you really need to get immersed in, not just watch for enjoyment. Another anime I feel that's going for the immersion route is Touring After the Apocalypse. Earlier this year we had Hotel After the Apocalypse, which was without a doubt one of the best anime of the year, so I'm feeling pretty optimistic for this one. Actually, now that I look at it, there's a bunch of sci-fi anime or sci-fi adjacent this fall, which reminds me of the spring, though I didn't care for most of those, except Apocalypse Hotel, so I might as well cover the others now. Alma-chan Wants to Be a Family is about an android determined to make her creators just get along, eat at the table, not answer cell phones, and be a functioning family for once in their lives. Looks real cute actually. Same studio made The Little Lies We All Tell, which was a fun, underrated comedic anime. I've got good feelings about this one. Star Wars! No, seriously, there's a Star Wars anime project, and it's worked on by just about every studio you can think of, and now we've got a 3rd season for it. I would have covered this in my sequel section, but I'll be completely honest, I've never really been much of a Star Wars guy, and I don't know if this is like an actual sequel or just a bunch of short stories. Nausea is an upcoming anime that I'm going to watch because my man and fellow anime YouTuber Floyd Lawrence is telling me to do so, and it's also apparently Anime Among Us. Digimon Beat Break, which seems to be bringing the Digimon series into a darker direction. Now, I've never really been too familiar with Digimon, but this is pretty interesting for the series. Okay, I'm getting tired of saying, I don't know what this is, guys. There's too much anime for me to look up the details for. Do you actually expect your anime YouTubers to know anime? Because the next anime is one I'm on the exact same wavelength for. That being mean Dusk Beyond the End of the World, which I could have just said, oh hey, it's another PA Works anime original, therefore it's a must-watch. PA Works shoot more threes than Steph Curry. But the first episode is already out, and I have watched it. Guys, the very first anime I reviewed on this channel was another sci-fi anime original streaming on HIDIVE, and that anime became one of my favorite ever made. I don't know if this is going to go the same route because so far only one episode is available, but I've got strong feelings this is going to be a hit. Definitely one to keep track of this fall. I don't think sci-fi is going to be the big theme of this fall. Instead, that might go to the villainess genre, as there's quite a number starting with May I Ask for One Final Thing, which is the name of this anime, by the way. The video's still got a lot of runtime left. I really like the premise of this. She's falsely accused of being a villainess in a smear campaign, so she decides, alright, I'll be a villainess then. Fuckers! And delivers. Man, I can already tell Scarlet is going to be one of my favorite MCs of this fall. Speaking of which, I do want to shout out the movie Scarlet, also coming this fall. I don't usually cover movies in these videos, but man, this is looking pretty good. The dark history of the reincarnated villainess. Now, here's what I can actually talk about, because believe it or not, I've seen the first episode already. Yeah, I went to a convention a few months ago where the director and producer held the world premiere of the first episode. It's about a girl who creates her own fantasy stories, and after getting hit by a wandering Trek-kun, she gets isekai'd into the very world she created as the villainess, who's supposed to die in like 5 minutes. Oops! After watching just one episode, I'm looking forward to it. The jokes had the crowd laughing pretty well along with it. This is gonna be a fun show. A wild last boss appeared as a villainess anime in the literal sense, as the MC is reincarnated into the body of a final boss of a video game. Sure, you can just call this gender-swapped overlord, but man, this trailer makes this anime look completely badass. I'm excited. And then we've got This Monster Wants to Eat Me. Once again, not the villainous anime in the typical sense, but this is continuing the genre of gay horror that we have with The Summer Hikaru Died. And if this anime is half as good as that one, then I'm all in. Maybe the big genre this fall is gonna be rom-coms. Looking at what's popular in my anime list, the first new show that shows up is My Friend's Little Sister Has It In For Me. And this is definitely something I'm planning to watch, but I do want to give a quick shout out to Kahana Lam, who's singing the ED, and she's the same artist who performed both EDs for the greatest anime of the decade still, The Dangers of My Heart. Anything that reminds me of that series, even slightly, has got my attention. My Awkward Senpai is a new office rom-com, not to be confused with the office rom-com My Tiny Senpai, or the office rom-com My Senpai Is Annoying. Inexpressive Kashiwada and expressive Ota reminds me of that episode of A Haran-san when Raito became a delinquent for half an episode. And hey, that one was an absolute blast. Little Miss Vampire can't even suck right. Oh, really? Well... My lawyers have advised me not to finish this sentence. Also, completely unrelated to these anime in particular, but YouTube, can you please stop automatically playing the AI-generated English dub? When I watch trailers, I don't want them to sound like...
It's not like I like you, senpai.
A Star Brighter Than the Sun is a brand new shoujo anime featuring a tall girl as the MC, which is really nice to see. Tall girls deserve love too. And man, the art style for the flashback scenes is fantastic. Love to see more shoujo getting animated this season overall. There's this one and The Dark History of the Reincarnated Villainess, which I mentioned earlier, but on top of these two, there's the following other shoujo adaptations. Mechanical Marie, where this guy gets a robot made, but robot in personality rather than design. A Mangaka's Weirdly Wonderful Workplace is a comedic series made by the same studio who did Acro Trip, which was ridiculous and goofy as all hell. This looks fun too. Plus-size misadventures in love. Okay, I want you to guess, and I mean guess, which anime this studio, Marvichak, has worked on before. Take your wildest guess. You're wrong. Yes, the second season of Spice and Wolf from 2009. I'm not making this up, they worked on that along with Brain Space. We're moving out of the shoujo section, but still have some more rom-coms with Chitoses in the Ramune Bottle, which I'm hoping is good because the second core is already planned for next year. Yano-kun's Ordinary Days is about this guy who's always battered and bruised, because every day he has to face his strongest opponent, himself. With You, Our Love Will Make It Through is the new anime, but that title makes it sound like it's a power ballad from the 1980s. Pass the monster meat, m'lady. What a great title. And hey, maybe this will tide us over until the second course of Delicious in Dungeon comes out. Let's Play, which is based off of a webtoon by an, I believe, American artist. I wonder if there's any other anime adaptations of webtoons created by Americans. Oh dear. But it's not the only webtoon adaptation we're getting this season. The Fated Magical Princess, Who Made Me a Princess, is another webtoon adaptation, and this trailer is gorgeous. I'm surprised I haven't seen too much buzz about it online. Maybe it's because it's technically a donghua, but like, To Be Hero X and Lord of Mysteries are getting a lot of buzz. Fantasy series deserve their hype too, like Disney's Twisted Wonderland. Yeah, this might seem a bit odd, but I've been to Japan, and this series is really popular over there. A gatherer's adventure in isekai. Dad is a hero, Mom is the spirit, I'm a reincarnator, and Potions Will Save Me are all new isekai I haven't mentioned yet, and those last two might be a bit interesting. The former, the MC utilizes her knowledge of the periodic table of the elements, and for the latter, I mean, potions are basically just chemistry and fantasy, but I'm calling it interesting because it actually has a male elf. The Banished Court Magician aims to become the strongest is another Banished from the Heroes Party anime, but it looks like he's able to keep his friends he used to journey along with, which makes me wonder if he really got banished in the first place. My gift level 999 unlimited gacha backstabbed in a backwater dungeon. I'm out for revenge. Takes a cake for having the longest title of any anime in this video. But hold up, it could be a longer title. Oh yeah, and it's also a Banished from the Heroes Party anime too. Hero without a class, who even needs skills. Man, I wonder which anime this studio just made. Don't Touch Kutasashi is not a fantasy anime in the traditional sense, but being a massage therapist for attractive female athletes might as well count as fantasy. Tojima wants to be a Kamen Rider, has the MC living out the fantasy of himself becoming Kamen Rider. Ninja vs. Gokudo has the fantasy of ninja fighting organized crime. Wandance has the fantasy of becoming a dancer.
Hey man, I'm about to bust a nut.
Oh no, she's gonna bust a nut!
That's it, I'm gonna bust a nut.
Sonda is about living out the fantasy of becoming Santa Claus, and by that, I mean kicking major ass. I mean, this one's gotta be a must-watch. It's by Science Saru. Closest we'll get to having Dandadan Season 3 before we get Dandadan Season 3. SIV's The Sound of Heroes is about living out the fantasy of being Lucky Cyan, being both a hero and performing artist. Ganglion is about living out the fantasy of being cannon fodder to be beaten by the hero. Shabike is about living out the fantasy of solving supernatural mysteries, and I'm really stretching the definition of fantasy here, aren't I? Well, I've got one more anime to cover, and it is a fantasy series. That being, my status as an assassin obviously exceeds the heroes, and I'm not covering this last because the main elf is really cute, but I'm covering this last because it's a new isekai being made by Sunrise. You know, the Gundam studio? It's visually impressive from the trailers alone, and it's one of those isekai where the entire class gets isekai'd. But the MC isn't the hero. He's the assassin hiding in the shadows. And guys, maybe I am hyping this up because of the elf. I mean, just look at how cute she is. But get this, her name is Amelia. Like, spelled differently, but come on. This anime was genetically engineered to appeal to me. I mean, I can't get over that she's an elf named Amelia. Like, I love her already. And I have no doubt that this will bring us one step closer to finding the perfect anime. And there's 55 anime. Plus, we have continuing shows like Waterikun Something is About to Collapse, Togenanki, and Gachiakta. Man, with how stacked this summer was, I'm mostly okay with this being a quieter season coming up. Like, I watched too much anime this summer. The summer tier list is gonna be a bit delayed, so I need to tone it down a bit because there's only so much I can keep up with realistically. But if you enjoyed this video, then be sure to sub Final Boss for more villainesses. I've got a headache, so I'm gonna go take some Tylenol. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.